Hey guys, Dizzler Magic here, and finally, after hours and days, I've finally figured out what the actual hell is going on in this wonderful 1997 Magic the Gathering game. Now, most people call it Shandalar because that's the name of the world, and when you're on the menu, you can click on like character editor, world editor, whatever, this, that, and the other thing, or click on the button that says Shandalar, and there you go, you actually launch the game. So it's sort of implied that it's called Shandalar. Or I mean, Shandalar. I am going to mispronounce it this entire video. I am just warning you right now. I actually keep calling it Shandalar. Or no, wait, that's what it's actually called. What was I calling it? Oh yeah, Sharandar, because that just sounds way better. I am deeply confused about this made up non English word. So let's start off with Shandalar itself. It's a rogue plane drifting through the like multiverse of planes instead of really retaining one single location. So I would assume that makes it kind of difficult to planeswalk to. I don't know. I've never planeswalked personally, despite clearly being a planeswalker. The land is described as being like ridiculously rich in mana, just like mana frickin' everywhere. So like everybody uses magic, like all the time. Everybody's like magic this, magic that. Oh, you have to clean your room, magic time. So believe it or not, this game was made in 97, like I said, but it does still work on Windows 7 64-bit. I did not see that coming. I assume that means it was not designed for 16-bit because I believe that's the problem with Exile 3 and 1 and 2. I just say 3 because 3 is better. So unfortunately, if you want to play Exile 3, literally the greatest game ever made, not even just like the greatest RPG, it's the greatest game ever made. Unfortunately, you're going to need a 32-bit computer. The OS doesn't really matter. Well, I mean, it would have to be Windows, but other than that. So it's a miracle that this actually runs. I mean, you get some glitches, some problems, a little bit of freezing and stuttering, but compared to, oh god, let's say Arkham Knight, wasn't that the game that was a complete catastrophe? Yeah, this is pretty good. The number of glitches is lower than any AAA release title I've seen in the last 5 years. Bethesda should look at this game and learn something from it. My only complaint is that the game is locked in at complete garbage resolution, but there was no such thing as dynamic scaling back then, okay? I don't think I've ever seen a game be able to do that. If you wanted to change resolutions, you made all the artwork one time per resolution. That was that. So for all you people with the 17-inch cathode ray tube monitors that could run at 1280 by 1024, usually they would just upscale the game, and dual monitors, I mean, forget it. So didn't quite look right on my dual monitor system at 1920 by 1080 times 2. But yeah, I was still able to capture some gameplay and some screenshots. So since gameplay is just like huge, like gameplay videos just go on and on and on because that's what they are. I decided to just give you guys an overview of the game in this one and then put the gameplay in another video just for time reasons. Also, God knows I need the frickin' AdSense money. In fact, I might actually name the gameplay video Shandalar, Pranks in the Hood, Cops Were Called, Got Arrested, Almost Died, Gone Sexual. Oh my god, the guy who used to name all of his videos that, Soflo Antonio. Like, I know he's dead on YouTube, but is he actually dead for real? I kind of hope so. He is famous on YouTube for not having any consequences ever from clickbaiting. Well, you know, that and every other major channel ever, you know, them too. Anyway, let's go look at some Pranks in the Hood. Okay, so this is the game. This is Shandalar here, or whatever the hell it's called. I'm going to keep up a little text file that says what it is. Okay, Shandalar. That's what it's called. So here I am standing out in Shandalar, despite using the character creator, customizing every little thing. And honestly, it's almost on par with like Morrowind. It's quite good. I'm pretty sure I'm some kind of female sorceress, which is not what I picked. I picked a male in a red robe, but the game said, screw you. So now something interesting here is you've got gold and you use gold to buy cards, which is kind of cool because it's kind of like meta, like takes you out of the game because you're like, oh yeah, I get it, buy cards in real life like I would. But except you do it in game and it's super classic RPG. Like you go town to town, hit up the shopkeeper and buy their cards, but then you use the cards to battle. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of like an anime thing. So you can see I got 595 gold because, you know, I'm rich as hell. And finally, I passed the turning point where I started actually being able to beat people. And then you win their cards. So it's kind of skewed in your favor compared to traditional Magic. as far as card rewards and progressing, because otherwise you literally never would progress in the game. But the difficulty level, oh my god, like it is so against you. Words cannot even describe how much of a chance you don't stand for like the first 30 battles of this game. You will probably get shredded to the point where you'll either have to like just ride the reload button or just, I don't know, get obliterated to the point where you have to start the game over. This game's difficulty is insane. I mean, it's insane. I mean, I know Magic inside and out. I should be able to win every duel, but they start you with such a garbage freaking dumpster fire tragedy of a deck that you can't beat anyone. It's terrible. Oh, and a lot of your stronger opponents start with 14 to 18 life. You start with 10. I've been through like 30 battles and I'm still starting with 10. In fact, you can see on here I have a temporary boost for the next duel. I get +2 life. Actually, I might start at 14 then. I feel like that 12 might be permanent. So I think I got that from a quest. I wasn't paying very much attention. And then for some reason, as you can see in between the life Ankh and the gold there's a food stat. I have 162, I'll say pounds, I don't know, of food. I'm still not 100% sure what that 40 out of 105 is. It must be the primary deck I have equipped has that many cards, and they cap it at 105 because, I don't know, because it does. I have no idea what it means. And then the little amulet-looking things are amulets. And then on the very bottom there, the dragonfly, I believe, is the world magic that I've acquired. I still have no idea what the number 3 is. You got me. But it's something about, like, if I own a green amulet, I can walk through a swamp at full speed or something like that. I don't know. I mean, the game's kind of deep. Like, you'll get it right away, but it's pretty complex. I would say it's on par with, like, Phantasy Star 3 from Genesis and 1 and 2. I have a thing about 3. Or I should say, RPGs have a thing about 3. Honestly, Phantasy Star 4 wasn't even as good as 3. So it seems if you have redundant amulets, like the 2 black ones I have there, I can trade them in for my choice of a card. So it's not just what random cards are in stock at a shopkeeper. I can hand pick a card, except for some reason it keeps not working. Like it keeps giving me a different card than what I chose. I don't know why that is. I think I'm hitting the wrong button or something. By the way, this game does not teach you a damn thing. They just throw you in. They're like, figure out the controls yourself. Bye-bye. I'm going to take a wild guess because I used to game in the 90s that the game actually came with a manual, a paper manual, and you're supposed to read it. The content for space reasons and for design time reasons was very rarely in the game. It was like, oh, you want to learn how to play the game? Well, then dig out the manual, bro, because we ain't going to tell you. These days, there's like a whole opening animation, like press X to swing your axe. Yeah, no, none of that in this game. So you walk around with the arrow keys or the mouse. It's a little stuttery and jittery and weird, but it probably uses like Microsoft Direct 3D or Direct Draw or something like that, so it actually runs fairly well. So as you can see on the map there's that little red town. There's a lot of towns, taverns, towers, castles, that kind of stuff. And you can go visit them. You got to run between them to do quests. And the quests are pretty cool. I mean, they're simplistic, but even by today's standards, they're not that bad. So when you walk into a town, you get this interface right here. You can see it's not technically a town, it's a tavern, but whatever. They're all pretty much towns. So you can buy cards where they'll have a selection of up to 4 cards, and they're usually either colorless or colored based on the city that they're in. And you can even look up, like under your city notes, what colors of cards they typically have. They also have a time system in the game. I'm not too familiar with how it works, but it'll like regenerate the cards over time. So you can come back the next time you come to the town and, oh look, new cards. You could also buy 10 food for 20 gold, I guess. You really don't want to run out of food or you will actually start taking life damage, I believe. I think I recall that happening once. Whoops. Thus the 164 pounds of food in the screenshot. Now, in the middle, Speak to Wise Man is usually in the place of, ask for a quest, start a quest. And if you just speak to him, sometimes he'll like have a follow-up from the quest. He'll give you a blessing. He'll give you a boost for the next battle. He'll give you some information. You always want to talk to the wise man when you go into town. I mean, that's RPG 101 right there. Then there's almost the most important part, except I figured out that you can actually edit your deck outside of a town as well, but sell cards, very important. So edit deck, sell cards, top right there. if you're not using a card, you got to sell it. You need gold. And as far as I know, it's one of the only ways to make gold in the game. So, yeah, if you pick up a good card but you don't like it, it doesn't fit your deck, it's not on your colors, and you don't intend to put it in a deck in the future, or you're just broke, yeah, sell that sucker. And they are dynamic. You can get like 240 gold for a card, or you can get 5. Baseline for a really garbage card is usually 15. The cool thing is I think I've started to catch on that you could sell it for almost its exact purchase price. So there's no like 50% reduction unless I'm remembering that incorrectly. And then, of course, you got the button, Leave the Village. Can't be much simpler than that. So the whole game is about you dueling all kinds of people who are attacking you. It could be, a druid, a warlock, a wizard, a knight, a white knight, a black knight. I mean, doesn't matter. Basically, whatever they are, they want to fight and kill you. Fortunately, they don't actually kill you. It's pretty much magic rules. 1997 magic rules, okay? So let me run down those rules in a second here. But basically, you can see on the screen that dude in the black hood, he's chasing me down. And if you're really good, it's kind of like tackling people in Madden. If you're really, really, really good at running a route, you can actually evade them, and they have a limited range, so you can actually outrun them. They won't step more than about a half screen away from their zone or town that they're around. So if I wanted to, I could probably keep running south, directly south, and evade whatever this dude is. Also, those ruins a little bit down and to the right there, that would be one of the secret locations that pops up. You can hit it up and you'll almost always find like a card or something cool. Now, there's one thing I probably should have mentioned slightly earlier, and this is what it looks like when you talk to the wise man and get a quest, which isn't that guy a total creeper? Like, he totally does not look like a good guy. He looks like a villain. He should almost just have a cat on his lap, like stroking it slowly, like, yes, run this mission for me. But anyway, the quest is, defeat the winged stallion, which has been menacing our village. Return here and I will reward you with red cards. Oh boy, red cards. Sometimes it's your choice, sometimes it's not. Whatever. I'll take what they give me. I don't even run red, but hey, I like to battle winged stallions. It actually was insanely difficult to battle the winged stallion, by the way. And the weird thing was, when I beat him, he popped up the screen that said teleported. I assume he teleported. I thought he meant me, but then I was in the same place. So I'm like, oh, I guess he teleported away. Whatever, I don't know. Oh, he did just call me a sorceress. What the hell? I picked a male wizard in a red robe with a really baller frickin' staff, like a scepter type thing. Why the hell did the game not load my actual avatar? Whatever, I'll play as a woman, who cares? There should be more women in Magic, and I'm doing my part. Hey, I don't hear you doing anything about gender equality in Magic. At least I'm playing Magic while pretending to be a woman, damn it. So I went back to town. Wise man's like, oh crap, it's you again. He's like, yeah, the people applaud your brave struggle to free Shandalar, almost called it something else again, from the tyranny of the 5 wizards. So yeah, he'll fortify me with extra food for my journeys, which now I could have sworn he said something about red cards, but then again, this could just be a different screenshot. I don't know. I don't remember when I took this. Actually, considering the food level, I assume I took this before that other quest, but you get the idea. This is an example of the reward screen. What a crap reward, by the way. But hey, it keeps me from spending gold on food, so whatevs. So anyway, remember the dude in the black robe chasing me? Well, here he is. So, 97 rules. Let's go over them. First, you ante. I think God, I'm going to massacre this. You shuffle your deck and then flip up the top card. Both of you do it, and then that's the card that you're playing for. And I think you can still use the card in the battle, like you shuffle it back into your library, but I'm not 100% sure. You might actually be forced to play without it. I don't remember. I also didn't play back then. But yeah, the ante system was around for approximately not so damn long because Europe and a bunch of other places were like, yeah, that's gambling. Wizards, you're teaching kids to gamble. You are literally you're forcing them to post their own property and then the winner gets it, based on the result of a game. Yeah, you can't do that. To this day, it is completely illegal in the Wizards official sanctioned play format and even suggested to casual. You cannot bet anything, money, anything that has monetary consequences, can't do it. But in Shandalar, you're forced to, and I don't want to lose my Cyclopean mummy. He's freaking awesome. Look at his crap ante. I don't want a damn pit scorpion, little frickin' 1/1 for 3 with infect. That's crap. But that's how antes worked. Also, they never seem to be basic lands, so there must be something to that too. I think you have to keep flipping up until you hit a non-basic land. I don't know. You guys get the idea. So I can either duel him, as you can see on the middle, or I can pay 70 gold to tell him to piss off. Take a guess which one I do just on principle. It's like, oh, you ran up and attacked me, now you're shaking me down for money. I don't care if you're the most powerful opponent. I got to save the game and reload it 80 times. I'm going to beat you because you're not getting my gold. So when you start a game, it actually physically flips a coin on the screen, which is pretty cool. This is the interface here. It says you won the coin toss, which never happens. Would you like to play first or draw first? And normally, you would want to play first, get the one swing advantage, of course. Now after that, it tells you if your opponent took a mulligan, which is weird because you should have to decide first, but whatever. Basically, here's the mulligan rules. And this is the number one problem I have with, I'd say, the game, but also Magic in 97. I actually feel like this rule was phased out prior to 97, which is kind of funny. If you have all land or zero land, you're allowed to mulligan, or if your opponent mulliganed. That's it. So guess what you get to do sometimes? Start with a one land hand, which means guess what you get to do sometimes? Build your deck with about 20 lands out of 40. Oh, FYI, your deck only has to be 40 cards. Okay, we're going turbo old school. In fact, there is a limitation in the game, but it can be lifted slowly. You're, I believe, allowed to have any number of a card. So you are not limited by, 4 copies of a card per deck, except that you are... But you have to level up as a wizard and beat quests and beat other wizards and go gain a tome. I think you can buy a tome for 750 gold that lets you have one more to the limit of cards you can have in a deck. But back in reality, from what people are telling me, it was 40 cards, whatever you want. So people were building 20 decks, or I should say, it'd be 13, no, well, I don't know. Really can't split 40 evenly 3 ways, but you guys get it. I actually heard 20-10-10 was a big deck. So anyway, on this screen, they remind you of your ante to, just remind you of the card you're about to lose. And then you duel. And you can see I've got 14 life because I think I have 12 permanently, and then I got the 2 boost. I believe that's how that worked. Then they got 12, so natural advantage. Just like normal Magic. I start with more life than you because... Can you imagine that at FNM? Now, on the win screen for a duel, they actually have more cards than just the ante. You somehow just win more cards. They don't really explain it. They're just like, here, have cards. But you could choose to take the cards or take a dungeon clue. Those are your 2 options. The dungeons have the best cards in them. So, you might want to hit them up. I actually didn't yet in the game. But there's some serious powerful cards in there. The explanation that the wise man gives is that, basically back in the day, the most powerful wizards and people, they hid away the most powerful cards and spells in deep, dark underground places so that not just anybody could retrieve them because they were considered too powerful. Now you guys are going to kill me looking at that list there, but I took the dungeon hit. It tells me what's in it. Demonic Tutor, Ancestral Recall, and Time Twister. Yeah, I would like those. And then it shows me where it is on the map, which is fantastic. I'm not sure you could actually find it without a clue. Now, the only other clue I got about another dungeon was it's full of small red creatures. So the actual combat is, a game of Magic. The responses are really stupid and damage goes on the stack because that used to be a thing. And if you want to prevent damage, you have to literally target the damage itself on the stack. It's a little weird, a little bit of a learning curve, but I had heard about this stuff in the past, so it's not that unusual to me. So I'll show off some duels, some gameplay, and that kind of cool stuff in the next video, but that's your overall look at, the hell is it called? Shandalar. I'm glad I left that open. So, a couple other things I didn't show. This is the save game file thing. You can have, what is that, 11, 12 spots of saves? That's kind of cool. I like that. 10, actually, it looks like. You can see I've been saving a lot, and you can title them whatever you want. You can title them, right outside of castle about to battle, or something like that. So that's pretty cool. And once in a while, when you leave a town, it will give you a hint about some world magic, and you really do need world magic to, start kicking some butt. As far as I can tell, besides, running around and you don't level up, you don't have an inventory, it's pretty hard to gain, permanent hit points or life points or whatever. It's just basically like run quests, get hints, go to the dungeons, get cards, and then I assume the end game is to beat the 5 colored wizards. Once in a while, you get like a warning about what the wizard is doing. Like the black wizard is sending a warlock to attack this city that you're in, and then you'll see him outside and he'll try and chase you down. Other times it'll say that they do something called mana links. I still haven't figured out what they are. Apparently, I have 2 of them. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't reduce the cost of cards in combat, but I assume it does something cool. But if I think it warned me like that the red wizard was going to cast something called like domination if he picked up 2 more mana links and he currently has 1 or something like that. I don't know. So you might have a limited time and you might have to go attack them in a certain order. But I also heard that they have 40 starting life, and I assume they have basically the most powerful decks there are. So I'm looking forward to that, totally. And like I said, my opinion of the game, it's impossible. The game is just completely impossible for like the first 20 or 30 duels because your cards are going to be garbage. You have no money, and you'll just sit there and lose matches and lose cards. It's idiotic. It's so unbalanced. It's just stupid. But once you get some cards, you get some respectable decks, you run some quests, which I would assume you would do very quickly or you're going to lose, then you start to be a little bit more unbeatable. Also, what deck you get when you start the game is completely random, and it's different on like every computer and for every player, but they are pre-made decks, and the colors are locked in. Oh, and also, you can own 3 decks. You probably saw that on the other screen. So, if you can't beat somebody with a certain color because they're running, Circle of Protection white or something stupid like that, then guess what? You're going to switch decks. So, it takes a while to get up the colors and even just the basic lands. Basic lands are not free. You have to buy those as well. You got to get those in your inventory to even just build a second deck. So you're looking at, 18 lands out of 40 just to consistently not start with one and get land screwed. So you got to stop at a lot of towns and buy a lot of basic lands. I mean, it's hard to do, but I have a second deck almost done, 36 cards. Now, the funny thing is, if you don't have enough cards and you set that deck as your primary, it will just fill it in with random basic lands that aren't even necessarily on color. And sometimes you can get away with that. That's actually how I beat the little Pegasus thingy. Overall, would I say the game is fun? Yes. Would I say it's just hilarious because it's so antique and uses like the oldest rules of Magic? Oh, hell yeah. But the most important thing I took away from the game is an appreciation for what the game was like back then. None of this hyper powerful crap except, well, I should say though, I mean, you look at cards like Dark Ritual and people are like, what the hell? And like Black Lotus and Mox Opal and, I don't even know. There's like multi-kill spells and stuff. I mean, it's pretty rough, but it worked. It worked back then. It doesn't work now. In the current Legacy and Vintage, it's a joke and it's an insult. It's a slap in the face to anything from this game. The power level is off the charts, and if people think that that's what it was like back then, that is tragic. Playing this game, it's basically only alpha and beta cards from what I saw, maybe some revised. I don't exactly have them memorized and they don't exactly have set symbols on them. But you can see how the decks and the cards were initially designed in the first place. And it's so like low power. Like certain individual cards, you'd be like, holy crap. But that's just because of combos. Combos are what killed modern Magic, or current Magic. Well, and modern Magic. That actually was a nice little accident there. Let that one slip, but yeah, it's accurate. But to give you an example, in my deck, a 3/1 for 3 is a really good powerful creature that's a swing detriment. If your creature has flying, you are like Hercules. You are almost guaranteed to win the duel just because you have a flyer and you can swing every turn. Also, there was no defender. Defenders were walls, and if you have a regenerating wall like I do, you can just have somebody smash into it repeatedly. And the AI is really smart in the game. I mean, I don't think I've seen it make a mistake ever. I am not joking. They have made 0 mistakes. It's probably because you don't hand it a random deck like on X-Page and say play it. They're pre-made decks. So obviously the computer knows, who to target, when, and the whole game and the mechanics and the creatures were simpler. So, you got to give it that. But would I recommend people actually play this game? I would say yes. To just about anybody, universally, yes. It's hilarious. It's actually fun. It is, challenging. it is magic. It's not, you're not going to be like, oh, this isn't magic. No, it's magic. I mean, you got the phases, the turns, the responses, all that. It's not that glitchy and it runs. So go for it. You could probably find a copy floating around either on eBay or, well, it literally has no DRM. I'm just going to throw that little fact out there and not follow it up with anything. So definitely pick up a copy and check it out. And watch for my gameplay footage in the near future. I'm probably going to upload a whole bunch of it because I've been playing a whole bunch of it. I'll see you guys next video.